Robin Lambert is sitting here knitting. Maybe we can get her to tell us about Worldwide Knit in Public Day.
Well, it's coming
That's
up
kind
very
of an odd
soon.
name, though.
Yes, knitting in public. I think it's to put a spotlight on this is not an ancient art that only your grandmother was interested in. And actually, we're getting about a third of knitters who subscribe to magazines and blogs and things are male now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
and originally, way back in the 1600s, only men knitted. You had to be a member of the guild to get knitting needles and be allowed to knit.
Wow.
So I guess I should feel privileged.
Do most of the people that you know that knit belong to a group?
Yes, generally, because we like to share patterns and put colors together, but it's also a very relaxing thing to do on your own.
Okay.
It's repetitive, so it's very peaceful, meditative.
Well, it's something you can do while you're watching television, a movie or a ball game.
Yes, listen, we're not going to talk about ball games, Dennis. Dennis knows that I'm a Braves fan and very unhappy right now. So no, we're not going to talk baseball today.
We can think ahead to football.
Yes, let's think about football. Something's got to go right. Yeah.
Tell us about what you brought today.
Well, today I brought just some samples of other knitted works. This is a simple, repetitive knit 3, purl 3 pattern. This one is just one stitch all the way through, but with beautiful colored yarn to make the pattern. And that's also a simple knit 3, purl 3 with different repeats so that you get kind of a ribbing motion through there. Around Cullman County, I have learned most people crochet instead. So as a knitter, I'm sort of in the minority too. Crocheting seems to go faster if you're really good at it, but not for me. I prefer knitting because I know where I am. I have 2 needles. I know where I started and where I'm going to finish. So it works for me.
When did you start knitting?
About second grade.
Okay.
Yeah, made house shoes. And I have very kind relatives who wore the house shoes.
Well, you and your husband Vince have been involved with knitters that do shawls.
Yes,
Talk about that.
We operate prayer shawls for fallen soldiers, and we have been very busy in the last 3 weeks. Most people think our casualties are slowing down, but yesterday we had 27 in the list that came out. So those are deaths between May 1st and May 15th. When the list is released. So we get 2 casualty lists a month, and we contact the families and offer a prayer shawl if they would like to have one. Then we have knitters and crocheters, about 250 contacts around the country, and we say, hey, we've got a request from a widow in Kentucky, and kind of see who's available or who has an idea or a perfect yarn for it or whatever. In April, we had many requests for orange. And it's tough to find orange yarn in April. That's kind of a fall color that the stores aren't stocking. So that was a little tricky to fulfill orange requests, but we have dedicated people who want to do it. So they donate their time, their yarn, their resources, and the postage. A lot of if they're involved in a church group, often the church will help with the postage. But sometimes it's $10 or $12 to ship the shawl. So we have very dedicated volunteers who are happy to do that. However, we're always looking for more volunteers, which is why I get involved in things like Knit in Public Day. I know that we'll have 5 different knitting groups there. Arab and Hartselle and Decatur are all sending people from their regular knitting groups because everybody likes to be at the Fest Hall on a Saturday.
Yes.
You couldn't get more public than the Fest Hall on a Saturday in Cullman.
Yeah.
So again, it's in a couple of Saturdays, June the 18th, so the 3rd Saturday in June. We'll be there from 9 to 11. Now, the Fest Hall's open at 8. There's lots of other things going on. But we'll have a little circle of chairs and bring your project. And we'll have DVDs and yarn and needles if you want to take something home and learn how to knit. We'll help you get plugged into classes at the Cullman County Public Library. They teach every Tuesday afternoon. You can learn to knit for free. We also are hopeful a couple of the fancier yarn stores around North Alabama may donate some door prizes for us. So we'll get your name and contact information and be able to get you a door prize for that because we love free stuff.
So if somebody is a beginner or wants to be a beginner or they just want to come hang out,
they can join us 9
everybody.
to 11 on June the 18th. Last year we had kind of a core group of about 8, and then when there were another dozen or so that kind of came and went and couldn't stay the whole 2 hours, and then we had just real curious people that stopped by and would sit down next to you just to see what you're doing and how it worked. and they all have a story. My grandma did that. My Aunt Susie made me this for my wedding, and I still have it. So yeah, it's a fun time to share because everybody has a yarn story somewhere. Or they say, I have a case full of yarn in my closet. And yes, we take donations too. So yeah, it helps people get connected.
Okay. To wrap up, where and when? One more time.
Saturday, June the 18th, at the Fest Hall, as public as you can get, Worldwide Knit in Public Day. It's the 12th annual Worldwide. It's only our second time to do this in Cullman, so expect it to grow every year. And when I registered our Cullman event, we're the 2,828th event around the world.
Oh.
We're event number 2828, I can't remember that. So there's going to be lots of people knitting everywhere. Generally, the events are sponsored by yarn shops because they want the traffic to sell you something. But we're just a group of volunteers who like to knit and chat.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you, Dennis.